Top of the morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. All right, time for an energy rating. Again, in my favourite car park, in my favourite car, my only car, but anyway, I like it. Anyway, I thought it was really important to jump on and do another energy reading, to tap in and help you guide your way through through what's happening at the moment, because I do feel as though there's some very strong energies, and I feel like energetically it's a very important time. So an important time to really start focusing on ourselves and focusing on what we're all about, and even finding what our true mission is as well in life. Because finding that true mission's very important. It's what really motivates you. It's what really starts to get things happening. I've obviously had ambitions and goals in my life, which just never really felt the energy behind them to really pursue. But obviously doing stuff like this, it's definitely something I want to do. Anyway. For this week, I thought I'd draw out some cards to help read the energy. But before I go into the cards, just in my own meditations, I felt like it's a very, very strong time. This week is very powerful energetically. So it's really important to, I guess, focus on ourselves and getting ourselves into a state of thinking that, well, not thinking necessarily, but getting ourselves into a state where we're really just focusing on the present moment. We're not focusing on the future. We're not focusing on the past. We're not focusing on what's happened to us in the past or how that's going to affect us in the future, but we're just focusing on the present moment. It's the only way of really saying that is to focus on being. And I think that's very, very important at the moment. That will help lift your vibration. That's the energy level that we're operating at, which will help, I guess that helps your circumstances. So it helps with your emotions, and also helps with what you're creating. Okay, so jumping into the energies for this week, I drew out some cards, and they're fairly amazing cards, but overall, these cards, I've drawn out the Strength card, the World card, and the Chariot card. So I'll go through each one individually, but each of them shows women on there. So to me, that shows there's a very feminine energy around, but that also means it's a strong spiritual time. So it's very important to really focus on creating what we want, and also not avoiding, but trying to minimize the impact of some of the negative events that might happen. If somebody sort of annoys you, don't overreact to it. I know I've been saying that the last few weeks, but I feel like this is all connected. Okay, and I feel like this is going to continue into January, which is what I picked up from the first card. So, moving on to that first card, I drew out the Strength card. So the first thing I got from this was, I just felt I felt like Spirit said to me very strongly, planetary alignment. So, I don't know a huge amount about astronomy or planetary alignments or astrology for that matter. So I did jump on very quickly, I did a little bit of a search just before I got on here, and saw that there is a planetary alignment coming up in January 21st of next year. So I feel like this is all leading up to that time. But also this week's fairly crucial as well. So this week and perhaps part of next week it's fairly crucial energetically. So keep an eye on those energies. I keep saying it. But this is a time to focus on your strengths, as it says in the card. But that's really pointing towards spiritual strengths, and that's as a foundation. So for a lot of us who might be watching this, you may be focused more on the spiritual side of things, or at least interested in it. So yeah, now's the time to really start focusing on that. Getting into the meditations, and also, just drawing in that positive energy from what I feel on this card. Okay, drawing in that positive energy, as I've said before, will raise your vibration. That will reflect in the emotions that you're bringing out, which will also affect your reality. Bluntly saying. Okay, so that's the first card that came out. The second one I drew out was the World card. So that card, I felt, is very much pointing to this week, and I feel as though it's Wednesday, probably Wednesday or Thursday, which actually, what's today's date? Yeah, actually, that would encompass the 10th of the 10th. So I feel as though there is a critical point there where we really need to ensure that our vibration is high. The best way I have of describing that, and I've used it before, is that there's it's like an energy portal that's opened, which will I feel it's what we call an ascension portal, or what some people might call an ascension portal, where there is significant spiritual growth. Okay, so again, this all, you focus on the spiritual and everything else falls into place very much. As a general rule, there's obviously hiccups along the line. We all know that, but yeah, this week's fairly crucial with that. Okay, again, I'm really feeling that that spiritual energy around this. It's definitely speaking to a major turning point. For each of us who are focusing on the spiritual side of things. So for light workers, this is a crucial time to really look after yourself, focus on the present, and just get into that meditation where you can. All right, so moving on to the third card. So that's the Chariot card, and again, I feel like that's pointing towards what I've read out before. Okay, so now in this particular card with the Chariot, the woman who's on the Chariot is not directing it anywhere. She's been directed. There's no reins or anything on it, as you can see. She's just sitting on there being driven. Okay, so I feel as though that's pointing towards trust. Very much so pointing towards trust. So for some of us, we may come across situations or circumstances where they are not quite as they seem. So something might seem worse than what it seems, or somebody might say something that sounds convincing but really isn't. So I feel really it's a time of pointing to our or tuning into our intuition, and really I guess filtering out or letting our intuition filter what is true and what's not true, or where there's an illusion that something might be worse than what it appears. Okay, in other words, it's a time to really bring your vibration up, and that will help with your I'll just say it will help with your BS meter. So it will help to weed out some of the BS that some people might come out with. Okay, so and again, I feel as though it's a turning point. So we could move into a direction where we focus more on the world, more on our material wealth, which may or may not get us anywhere. Focusing on the mundane, or moving ourselves into a higher plane. All right, it's a very crucial time. I've said it a number of times today. So not much more I can say, except this really is an important time. So focus on yourselves. Okay, focus on that breathing. If you're not too much into meditation, or if you are into meditation, it's time to double down on it. If you say only meditate in the mornings, well, it's time to meditate in the evening as well, at least over the next week. And as I mentioned before, and I didn't really pick this up until I I did sort of look it up, and I did see it in that strength card. There is something coming up in January with the planetary alignment, so I'll meditate on that, see if Spirit provides more information for me. And until next week, or even later this week, I might come back on and do another update. Until then, I'll see you all later, and yeah, just remember, keep your vibration high, turn the BS meters on, and yeah, focus on the life that you want, focus on the spiritual, and we should be able to ride this week out. All right, see you all later. Bye.